Hello and welcome to my Tarot Corner. So I'm going to start with a private message, and those of you who are not interested can skip to right to the reading, which I really start with the disclaimer usually, and it is all down in the timestamps that I started putting on my videos. And I'm going to start with why am I doing this? And for those of you who know me, know that I am here for a little bit over a year, and I never cared about the algorithm. I never cared about growth too much. I wanted to grow, but there was a time when I was even thinking about quitting, and then I realized that I like my small community. I like the fact that we are practically family, and I love the people here that are always very encouraging, and that's it. And I do that because this is part of escapism for me from a lot of trouble that I have in my personal life. Some of the things that I am communicating to you, some I don't. Most of you who know me for a long time know that I suffer from chronic illness, that I am not a healthy person, that I'm handicapped, that I had to quit a very successful career as a pediatrician, and I haven't quit it completely. I'm still working as a pediatrician, but I cannot work full time. And this is not my main way of income. I am not working at doing and having a YouTube channel. I did not quit my day job. This is not the way that I make my money, in opposition to a lot of other YouTubers that have decided to make that as their main income or their main way of earning their money. So this is not me. I never thought about opening a membership section nor a Patreon. I always support other YouTubers. I'm subscribed to each and every one of the YouTubers that I can think of that are part of the Megxit community, and even ones that are not connected to Megxit. A lot of tarot readers, all of the ones that I know of that are doing readings about Harry and Meghan from our point of view, and those that are doing other sorts of readings, tarot readers that are doing all sorts of tarot teaching and talking about new decks. So I am trying to support as many as I can, and those that are unable to say their word on YouTube and only on Patreon, I support them on Patreon as well. So I am not here to make money, and this is not about the algorithm, and this is something that I want people to understand. And if I'm talking too much and this is not to your liking, or you don't like my style, you don't like the way that I do the readings, it's really not a problem. I only just lately made it to 3,000, and I can drop to under 3,000 as well. It doesn't really matter to me. I did a big giveaway on my birthday. I thought I would do another one next month as well. It's not connected to the number of subscribers. It's not connected to anything. It's just my feelings towards you, to my community, and the fact that I know and feel that you are all there to support me. So those of you who want to give me some criticism and to help me by giving that criticism are more than welcome to write me emails. You have my email address at the top of my my description box, and it's all right. And I always try to listen to criticism and to fix things that are that people have as remarks that people give me, and when it's given in a kind way, in a nice way, it's okay. And I try to change, and I try to adapt to the way that will help others. But when it's done in a cynical way, then it's not okay. And then I am not seeing it as a way of trying to help me. And then, well, once again, if you don't like my style, there are so many other more successful tarot readers, others that have bigger channels, that have different styles, and it's quite all right to go and watch their videos. I don't know why you're here still. Okay, so that's it with my personal stuff, and now I'm going to take this down so I'll know that this is it. And the reading today. So today's reading is about Prince George and his role in the coronation. Apparently, King Charles wants Prince George to have a role in the coronation, which is something that hasn't been a part of the tradition in the past coronations, not in Queen Elizabeth's coronation, not in King George V coronation. In Prince Elizabeth coronation, Prince Charles then was a young boy. He wasn't part of the ceremony, and when King George was coronated, Princess Elizabeth was a child, and she wasn't a part of the ceremony. But now King Charles wants to cement the line of succession, and he wants Prince George, despite the fact that he's only 9 years old, to have some kind of role in the coronation. And Prince William and Princess Catherine are worried about that, and very, very justifiably worried, because having Prince George as part of the ceremony might expose him to scrutiny, and he's been exposed to all sorts of scrutiny in the past for all sorts of things. If you remember, in the past, there was this very sorry expression that he said in school to someone: my father is going to be king. So that was a reason for him to be scrutinized and criticized. So they are not happy about the idea. But on the other hand, there is something in what King George is saying. I'm sorry, I'm just, okay, so I started this reading very upset, so I'm getting confused, sorry. So King Charles wants to cement the line of succession. He wants to make it visible, and he wants Prince George to have a role. And if you listen to Neil Sean this morning, he talked about the fact that when Prince William was asked about the future, he said something about if the people still wants us. So Prince William is aware that the monarchy is not a done deal, that things might change, and it's probably something that Prince George will have to tackle even more when his time comes, and things change even more radically as the time goes. So it looks like Prince George needs some kind of, maybe to to be more aware of his role, of him being the next in line, and this is part of King Charles's attempt to put it into Prince George's psyche. I don't know, maybe. So let's look into this, and I'm using the Little Prince Tarot, which is the Little Prince. Okay, so let's start by clearing the deck and say my disclaimer first. So this is a tarot reading. It is vibrational. It is open to interpretation. It exists as assumptions and speculation, and as such may or may not be true. So please do your own research and decide for yourselves. Okay, so let's clear the deck. And let's start asking. So, King Charles wants Prince George to have a role in the coronation ceremony. Prince William and Princess Catherine are worried that it might expose Prince George to scrutiny or criticism. So, what does Prince George really want? What does Prince William and Princess Catherine really want? What does King George really want? What are the challenges that they are facing, and what is the best way for them to move forward? Who are the ones that might criticize Princess George's participation in the coronation? What is the real reason King Charles wants Prince George to participate in the coronation? And what is the best way for Prince George to move forward, and whether or not he should participate in the coronation? Okay, so I suppose this is not Princess George's decision, but we can still look at what he wants, because this is him being treated as an adult and given a role that his predecessors, let's say that way, were not given at his age. So the first card is the situation, describes the situation as it is, the coronation, or Princess George's role in the coronation. The card that I'm getting is the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is a card that speaks about letting go, leaving the situation. So this is not a great card to describe Princess George's participation in the coronation. This is not a card that is that is showing a good prospect for that. It's a card that speaks about letting go and leaving this question, or not delving into this question too much. It's about giving up the struggle and letting the universe decide. So it is mostly about not getting into too much of a fight about that. So we need to look at the energies of Prince William and Prince George, and Prince William and Catherine are together, but Prince George is alone, and King Charles, to see what are the energies around here and who needs to let go. But someone here needs to let go of the fight. Someone here, it doesn't need to be a struggle around this. So this needs to be something that is a consensus, something that all of them are deciding together, and they need to stop thinking about the possible challenges, of possible things that might go wrong, and let the universe decide. So we need to look at all of the other energies here and see which is the energy that wins here. But this card starts from the telling them not to go into too much trouble, or to not to start a fight around this, not to start an argument around this. So let's see what the other energies are telling us. So the next card is the King Charles, and what does King Charles really want? And King Charles is the Emperor. So he is the king, is the emperor. He's the one who controls the material world. He's the one, he wants to be cemented as the emperor. He wants to be the one that says what is going to be happening. He wants to be acknowledged as the father, as the emperor, as the one who decides. This is what he wants. And as you can see here, the emperor has this child here around here that is falling asleep. So it is even like he doesn't care that this could be too much for Prince George, that Prince George might be even too much of a strain for him, that he might be collapsing because of that, that this is way too much of burden to put on him. He wants to be the emperor. He wants to be the one who calls the shots. He wants to be able to determine what is going to happen. And it seems like he doesn't care. I don't think that he really doesn't care, but it seems like he really wants things to happen his way, and that things around this are less important to him. So he really wants to be the king here. He wants to be the one who controls everything. And this card is really the way that this card is being depicted, and the fact that there is this prince here that is asleep and unable to oppose him is very telling with the intuition side. So this is really shows that this is like the narcissistic side of King Charles. And A.G. Tudor's calling King Charles a narcissist for a long time. And this shows about his narcissistic side. He doesn't really think about the way that this will impact Prince George. He thinks about how it will look for him. So what do William and Catherine want? And we are seeing they are full of doubts. So this is what we also get from the media. They are full of doubts. They know that this is exposing Prince George to a lot of criticism, a lot of scrutiny. They are not so happy about that. So Four of Cups is not an easy card as well. So this is a card that is talking about doubts. It's talking about the possibility of making mistakes, of making the wrong decisions. Usually the wrong decisions are made because you don't see reality as it is. But sometimes when you see reality in the right way, you can be in doubt, and the doubts are justified. And in this instance, I think that the doubts are justified. And as you can see here in this card, we don't see a person that is alone and not seeing the full cups around him, and is not happy. We see the rose here that is getting the water from the cup that is here, and there are 3 cups around her, and the rose is not she's blossoming, so she's not upset. And if you remember the story about the little prince, the rose is someone who complains a lot, but she's very demanding. And she's not someone who is depressed or someone who is, well, she's not someone who's depressed or someone who listens to false rumors. She's someone who's very demanding, but she's someone who knows exactly what she wants. And it seems like Prince William and Princess Catherine know exactly what they are facing. They don't want their child to face the same scrutiny that they themselves are facing. Every time they go out to the media, they are facing the same things, and they know that they are in the spotlight every time. And this card even gives you the intuition of someone who is standing in the spotlight, because this is the first thing that I thought when I saw this rose there, and this looked like a spotlight that is illuminating her, because this, and I'm calling it her because the rose in the story is a very well, it's like a person. I don't remember how to say that in English, but it's like giving an animal or a plant, human virtues. So it's a hair for me, but this is like the rose is on a pedestal and is illuminated and is under this spotlight. And this is something that the Prince and Princess of Wales are very, very scared in regard with Prince George. They are not so sure that this is the right thing for him, and they are full of doubts, and this is why we get this card. So it seems to me that the Eight of Cups here is leaning between maybe we'll need to look at the end of the reading to see who should let things go and let the universe decide. So what does Prince George want? What does he know about that? And what does his feelings about it, what does he feel about that? And what we're getting here is strength. So strength is about finding control within ourselves. So this is a major arcana, and it's a very spiritual card. And it's about a spiritual way or a spiritual avenue that Prince George realizes that this is part of his spiritual development. And he knows that being part of this whole ceremony is a way of him taking control over the narrative, of showing control over himself. This is about him finding the strength within himself to be able to withstand this kind of ceremony. It's not an easy thing to do. He knows that it will take him a lot of strength. He will need a lot of strength. And the strength card is showing that he knows that he will have to show control. He will have to be very much in control. Now, if you remember how the way that he and Charlotte acted during the Jubilee, during the Queen's funeral, they relied on another very much. Princess Charlotte gave him a lot of cues. Here you have to bow. This is something. They gave one another hints. Here he will have to find that inside of him. So this is about finding confidence. It's about being serene and finding the courage and faith to go further on. It's about self-confidence. It's about control. So he knows that he will have to find those attributes within himself. It's a very spiritual advancement, and he knows that he will have to go through that. It's not that he is willing or unwilling to do that. He realizes that this is part of his path in life. He knows that this is part of what he is intended. This is what he's supposed to do. But it shows that he has the courage to go through with it. So he's not afraid. This is a card that shows that he's willing to do that. He's willing to go through that process. It's a card that shows that he has the ability to find that strength. If he was afraid, it would have been another card here. So the strength card shows that he's understanding what he's facing, and he's willing to take that journey of finding that control within himself. Okay, next card is who will criticize him? Where will the scrutiny come from? So where can we find the people that might, or who will be the people that might try to criticize his participating in the coronation? And what we're getting here is the 10 of Swords. Okay, so the 10 of Swords, that is, first of all, air energy. Air energy, it's a lot about communication. It's about verbal communication. So this could be a lot of people that are talking, but the 10 of Swords is about going through. So this shows that there will be a lot of scrutiny. It shows that this card is a card that shows that mistakes will be made. And the 10 of Swords is a card that shows that there will be a long process or a very painful process of going through a painful realization of the mistakes that were made and understanding what the mistakes are and learning from those mistakes in order to find a way to not do those mistakes in the future. Now, this means that there will be a lot of verbal, I would say a lot of journalists, people that will talk. This is communication. This is air energy. So it's a lot about people that will talk, people that will write. There will be a lot of this kind of criticism. So no matter what kind of role Prince George will have in the coronation, there will be criticism. There will be criticism and quite a lot of criticism. And this will cause, if it will happen, it will cause the monarchy to make this kind of rethinking or taking a new route or understanding that they need to think things over and think about how they are pulling forward, how they are moving forward. If this happens, it will be very detrimental to the monarchy. So they will have to take very good care of not going into this process. So I don't know exactly what kind of role might cause this, but they need to be very, very careful. This is a warning sign, and this sign says that there are people that are waiting. They are waiting with the swords to teach them a lesson, to teach the king a lesson. They are waiting with the swords to teach the emperor that he is not the one that controls all of the material world. And Neil Sean in his video talked about social media, talked about media as a whole and things that are changing. And this is showing that the media has a big role here in the scrutiny, in the criticism, and Prince William and Princess Catherine are very, they know why they are scared of that. They know why they have doubts about that. So this is about the media that is waiting there with their swords for the monarchy to make a mistake about Prince George. So despite the fact that Prince George has he's ready to make some kind of step forward, it doesn't mean that they should do that. So the scrutiny is waiting to start. They're waiting to open their mouth. They need to be very careful. Who and what can support them? And what we're getting here is the Two of Wands. So the support might come from making the people, or making it very obvious that for Prince George is a beginning of a journey. So Prince George's role shouldn't be something that is very, very central. It should be something very minor that only shows that he is beginning a journey. This is only the beginning of his journey to realize his potential. He is going to become king one day, and we are now just showing his beginning of a journey. This is the way that they should, this is their support. This is how they should show this. This is their way of maybe contradicting the scrutiny. So it's very, very important that they are not putting George in center of anything. He should be there as this child that is only starting his way. He doesn't have to be in any center role. He needs to be there only as a reminder that there is a continuation, that he is starting his role, is starting his road, he's starting his voyage, and he will be able to fulfill his potential, but he's just starting. So this is only the beginning of a road, and this is how they need to put it. This is the way that they should put it in order to avoid scrutiny and criticism. So what is the best way forward? And the best way forward is the Moon. So the Moon is not a great card. The Moon is a card that says we need to talk about it. And that means, and it goes very well with the Eight of Cups, because the Eight of Cups is also a card that goes with the Moon. Both of them are cards of talking about it. Both of them are cards of mental health. Both of them are cards of mothers. So both of them have the same aura or the same feel, and both of them are cards that are talking about things. So the best way forward, first of all, is to make sure that they are talking between themselves, and that King Charles is not the one that is calling the shots because he's the king. He should get off this feeling that because he is going to be anointed as the king, he's the one who's calling the shots, and he needs to be more introduced to the feelings that everyone is feeling around him, that George might be overwhelmed, that it might be too much for him, and he needs to realize that this is not a good thing for him to be too much involved. First, that is the first thing. He needs to realize that there are doubts that are justified. This is not something that is just coming up because Prince William and Princess Catherine just want to think about it. This is something that is justified. It has merit. It is in it is in the it's in the reality. It's not something that is completely out of reality. And he needs to realize that every mistake that they make might end up in scrutiny, in criticism that might be very, very, very hard. And it might cause a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, and might force them to think things over and to start things over. So that could be very detrimental to the monarchy. He needs to realize that the best thing for them to show Prince George is as someone who only starts his journey, only starts his way, and not as someone central, although George is there, willing to take control over himself and show self-confidence, but he's not ready to be more center stage. And the Moon card is telling them to talk about it and not get into too much of a fight, not get into too much of an argument, to let it go. And to let it go means to let go of the notion that Prince George is going to be center stage in the coronation. Prince George shouldn't be center stage in the coronation, and this is what this card wanted to tell us from the beginning. So we needed to see all of the cards to realize that, but this is what this card wanted to tell us. Let it go. This is not the best thing to do. Okay, so that is the tarot, and the oracle is the soul's journey, and this is for King Charles, and then for Prince George. So 2 cards. Clearing the deck. King Charles on his coronation day. King George. Wow. Sorry, I'll clear the deck again. King Charles on his coronation day. King Charles on his coronation day. And the card that I'm getting is loneliness. I know that I am never alone. So this is not about being alone. This is about never being alone. And this is something that King Charles needs to know. He's never alone. He has his family. He has his wife. He doesn't need to show the world that he has it. He needs to realize that he has his family. He has people who love him, people who want his best, who have their best intention towards him, and not try to show that he has the power, because people know that you don't need to show it in a very strong way. You don't need to be the emperor in order to be the emperor. Okay, clearing the deck again. Prince George on coronation day. Prince George on participating in the coronation. And the card that I'm getting is empathy. I'm open to seeing both sides of a situation. That is a great card, because I think that Prince George is learning empathy from his parents, and this is why he got the he got the strength card, because he is learning to see both sides of a situation. Now, he's still a child, so we cannot say whether he's an empath or not. He's still a child, but he is getting from his parents the ability to see both sides of the situation. So despite his fear, he is willing to take that road. He's willing to take that, to take the risks. Despite his parents' doubts, he's willing to take the risk. He's willing to show self-confidence. And this shows that he is on his road to be an empath, just like his father and his mother, I think. Okay, so this is it for this reading. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. And once again, only if you want to. Bye.